Now carefully look at the figure that is there right here. Okay. This is in which shape? It is in T shape, right or not? Is it in T shape, right? This is a web. This is a flange. This is called the isolated T-beam. Isolated T-beam means the beam itself is cast like a T-beam. Okay. This is used in a bridge construction and all. Like these are all precast structure. This T-beam is already casted in the site, and this will be transferred to the site, and the slab will be laid on top of this. This is called isolated T-beam. Is that clear, everyone? If you make a beam something like this, or if you make a L shape, this is called isolated T-beam, where the beam itself cast at the factory, and it will be transferred to the site. Okay, and the width will be very less. Okay, it will not be like a slab kind of thing. But whereas in a frame structure, when the slab and beams are casted together, as I showed you in the video also, how the shuttering is done for the beam and slab, and the concrete is poured at once at the same time. Such a construction is called that is normal T-beam. Okay, this is called isolated T-beam. Okay, that is a difference, because you should know when to apply the formula of isolated T-beam, when to apply the formula of normal T-beam. Okay. Okay. So, as we discussed in the last class, suppose let us say you have this is one T-beam, this is another T-beam, another T-beam. The space between the clear span between these two beam is S1. The clear span between second this one is S2. Now the center to center distance of center of this slab and the center of this slab, that distance is called actual width of the flange. That is this one, actual width of the flange B. Okay. Now over this width of the flange B, you will have the stress distribution something like this, compressive stress distribution something like this. But it is very tedious to analyze using this one. So we have approximated to a uniform stress distribution something like this, and that width is called the effective width of the flange. This we already discussed. So remember, BF is the effective width of the flange, BW, B suffix W is the width of the web or rib or stem, and DF is the thickness of the flange. Okay, so that's what effective width of flange, and this formula is given for normal T beams and L beams. BF is L0 by 6 plus BW plus 6 DF. Remember, what is L0 given there? L0 is here, distance between the points of zero moments in the beam. That means, suppose if we have a simply supported beam, the T-beam is simply supported like this. Where will be the bending moment 0 for a simply supported beam? For a simply supported beam, bending moment is 0 at where? Anyone?
At ends, sir.
At the simple support. So at the supports, right? Exactly. So here your moment A is 0. Moment at B will be equal to 0. The distance between the points of zero moment is called L0. Is that clear? Suppose if you have I think you have studied structural analysis already, right? Suppose if you have a continuous beam like this, let us say this is fixed, and this is the intermediate support, and this is simple support, let us say. Now, in this way, whenever this is a continuous beam. Now here, if you draw the bending moment will be something like this. You have this is for a simply supported beam, and this is for a support moment. Let us say this is support moment, right? So here is the points of zero moment. This is the points of zero moment. What code says is, I will show you the code. L0 is a distance between the point of zero moment in the beam. For continuous beams and frames, L0 may be assumed as 0.7 times the effective span. Is that clear? 0.7 times the effective span. So whenever you get into this kind of situation, whenever you have continuous beam like this, when you want to evaluate L0, you have to for this span you have to find out effective span. In that effective span, you have to take 0.7 times. 0.7 times L0 is the 0.7 times effective span is the L0 value for this span. Is that clear? So that L0 is the distance between the points of zero moments by 6 plus BW is the width of the web portion, the beam portion. 6 times DF. F is the thickness of flange or thickness of slab is DF. Similarly, for L beam, it is half of this L0 by 12 plus BW plus 3DF. Now, for isolated beams, as I told you, isolated beam is completely different. For isolated beam, B is equal to L0 divided by L0 by B plus 4 plus BW, where the B is the actual width of the beam. As I told you in the earlier slide, in the titled slide, you have a T beam. Beam itself like a T beam, and the width of the top flange is B. So actual width of the flange, that is B. Plus 4 plus BW, and for L beam it is half of this value, 0.5 L0. These are all given in the code itself in a 23.1.2 page number 38. All this 38 or 37, all this information is available to you. This we will be very much using in the analysis of T beams, all these equations. Okay. Now, once again, so as I mentioned, this will be the this is flange portion. This horizontal portion is called flange portion. This is the effective width of the flange. Horizontal dimension is effective width of the flange. DF is the thickness of the flange or thickness of slab. Thickness of slab or flange. Both are one and same. Thickness of slab or flange. And BW is the width of the web. D is the effective depth. These are all called AST, which I already know. Area of steel in tensile zone. Okay. Is there any doubt? Anybody in this so far? Anybody have any doubt? Those who have doubt, you answer. You have doubt. If you don't have doubt, you need not answer. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can let me know. These are all simple things. It's very easy actually if you pay attention. Okay. Now. So analysis of flange. There are 5 cases, right? There are 5 cases in which you can analyze the flange section. The first one is neutral axis falls within the flange. Okay, you know neutral axis depth is XU. That is, this is XU. XU is the neutral axis. Within the flange part, flange thickness is DF. So if your XU is value is less than DF, how to calculate either the neutral axis depth or the moment of resistance of this T beam? That's what it is given in 2.1 of IS 456-2000 in page number 96. I am going to go there. So here, moment of resistance of a rectangular and T section. So if you see here, G2 is a flanged section, right? Now, if you read G2.1, if you are, I hope it is visible to all of you here. Flange section for XU less than DF, the moment of resistance may be calculated from equation given in G1.1. 1.1 is for a rectangular section. What they are saying is that this moment of resistance can be calculated from this one, except that instead of B width of web, instead of B, you will have a BF. That we will see now in the slides. So right now, let us say you have a T beam having the AST provided here at an effective depth T, and this is the width of the flange. This is the width of the web. This is the thickness of the flange. Now, what is the first case? Neutral axis falls within the flange. You know, you already know this is called flange. This horizontal rectangle is called a flange portion, and this vertical, this one is web. What it says, neutral axis falls within the flange. That means let us say this neutral axis within here itself. So that means my beam is like this. As you know, what is the nature of above the neutral axis in simply supported beam? Vinod Kumar, what is the nature of stress in a simply supported beam above the neutral axis? Is it compression or tension? This is your neutral axis, and below the neutral axis everything is tension. Now actually all the tension concrete in the tension zone is neglected as per the assumption given in IS code, because concrete is very weak in tension. So you will not consider concrete below this neutral axis. Only steel will take tension. So what is above there? Only rectangle is there. What is the size of this? This is the XU. Okay, this is the neutral axis depth. This XU is less than DF. Now you tell me, above the neutral axis, this compressive region is it in the shape of rectangle or T-beam? What is the shape of this above the neutral axis? So you have although it is a T-beam, suppose if the neutral axis falls within the flange, you again have only rectangle of BF and XU size. So now if you draw the stress block as per IS 456 in figure 22, this will be like this only, because you are at the neutral axis you have a zero stress, and at the extreme end you have 0.447 FCK. Now for T-beam they made 0.45 FCK as per the code. 0.447 FCK is equal to 0.45 FCK, right? Now the total compressive force will be 0.36 FCK XU. Normally we have B. That B is the width of the rectangle. Now we have the width as BF. That is the only change. So this C is the 0.36 FCK XU into BF. And as usual, the tensile force will be 0.87 Fy into AST. Okay. And this will act at a distance of 0.42 XU. Now, if you equate this compressive force and tensile force, remember your neutral axis depth is always found using the equilibrium of compression tensile force. Compressive force is this much, tensile force is this much. If you equate these two, because to find neutral axis we will always we find the equilibrium of compressive and tensile forces. If you do that, you will get this equation: XU by D is equal to 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK BF into D. It is same as what you have here, except that instead of B you have BF. Is that understood, everyone? Anyone having any doubt? So if you want to find out the neutral axis depth for this T-beam, then you will use this equation only: 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK BF. In this D and this D you can cancel, but this is represented like this only always for the sake of easiness. Okay. Now, how will you find out the moment of resistance? Moment of resistance is always found. You take moment with respect to either tensile force or with respect to compressive force. Okay. So if you take with respect to compressive force, it will be 0.87 Fy AST into this lever arm is T minus 0.42, which we know this is the distance between these two forces, D minus 0.42 XU. So you can take moment about this force or you take moment about this force, both will be same only. C will be equal to T. For the body to be in equilibrium, C will be equal to T. So you take moment about this force or about this force, both are one and the same. So taking moment of resistance will be, you take moment about, I am taken about this compressive force, about this force I am taking moment. So 0.87 Fy into AST, that is a force value, multiplied by the perpendicular distance between this force and this force is D minus 0.40 XU. So moment of resistance 0.87 Fy AST, or you take this D outside, then you will get 1 minus 0.42 XU by D. For XU by D, you substitute this one. Then you will get the simplified equation: 0.87 Fy AST D in 1 minus Fy into AST divided by FCK into BF into D. Again, it is same as this equation, B 1.1 B equation, except that instead of B, you should apply BF. Right? Any doubt anywhere? This is the first case. First case is very, very simple. Whatever you already studied for a rectangular section, instead of B, you are applying BF. There is no much difference. Is there clear? Any doubt to anybody? If you have any doubt, please tell me now. Okay, so remember for first case neutral axis falls within the, because while solving the problem they will not give you the case and all, you have to find out the case. Okay, na? So for neutral axis within the flange means within that is horizontal portion, the equations are this: xu by d is equal to this one, and moment of resistance is 0.87 Fy AST d into 1 minus Fi into AST plus FCK Bf into d. Now case 2, neutral axis falls within the web. There are two cases here in this one. Neutral axis falls within the web. In other words, df by x is less than 0.43. I will let you know why it is mentioned df by xu less than 0.43. Why not in some other way? Okay. So where your xu is, this xu value is greater than df. Greater than df means what? Df is what? Thickness of fully. So this is AST. The depth from the topmost compression fiber till the effective depth is called the effective depth. The centroid of the tensile is the effective depth. Bf is the width of the flange. F stands for flange. Bw is the width of the web. This is the beam. This is called web. This portion is called web. That is width of the web. And df is called the thickness of the flange. Now what it says, neutral axis falls within the web or outside the flange. Both are one and the same. That means your xu, this is the neutral axis depth, is greater than df. Df is here. So greater than df means it has to somewhere below this line. Okay. And that xu is less than xc max. Okay. So let us say, I will show it in a whiteboard. Now see here. I told you I will explain what is df. Like you have been given df by xu less than 0.43. Now let us say, now this is my xu. This is my xu, where this is my neutral axis depth. Now xu is greater than df or not? It means your neutral axis within this web. This is called web. Okay. Now in this, what is this 0.43 xu? Now you see, remember our compression stress block, we said that this the rectangular block is 3/7 xu, right? What is 3/7? You calculate and tell me what is 3/7. What is the value of 3/7?
0.42.
4 to next digit what?
8.
Next 4 to 8.
0.482.
So this is equivalent to 0.43 xu. Is that clear? This part is, this rectangular point is 0.43 xu. This parabolic part is 0.57 xu. Now what is your case? df by xu is less than 0.43, or you can also say df is less than 0.43 xu. Now my 0.43 xu, that is this uniform distribution, rectangular distribution of stress distribution. This 0.43 xu is greater than df. This is my df. This is my df. Okay. Now 0.43 xu is greater than df. Now tell me, over this depth, my stress distribution is uniform or not uniform? Now this is my thickness of the flange. And this thickness of flange is less than 0.43 xu. This is 0.43 xu here. Now this is the stress distribution. These are all called 0.45 FCK is the stress distribution. Now over this depth, over this thickness of flange alone, the stress distribution is uniform or not uniform?
Uniform.
Uniform. And what is the stress value? What is the stress value?
0.45.
Is that clear to everyone, students? Is that clear? I am saying my df by xu is less than 0.43. It is same as this one. That means my df is the thickness of flange. My 0.43 xu is more than the df. Means this rectangular part is this is where my rectangle uniform distribution is ending, and this height is more than df. That means throughout this flange, my stress distribution will be always be uniform, and that height is 0.45. What the stress value is 0.45 FCK. Is that understood? Anybody having any doubt? That is a second case. Now, if this is the case, now remember above the neutral axis. This is the neutral axis now. Now, above the neutral axis, the concrete is in the shape of T-beam or it is a rectangular beam. Above the neutral axis, this is your neutral axis now. The concrete above the neutral axis is in a T shape or rectangular shape?
T shapes.
T shapes. Okay, it is there in the form of T shape. But what we have already so far studied is only rectangular section. Now we will see how to find out if we have a neutral axis falls within the web, that is df by xu less than 0.43, how to find out neutral axis depth as well as how to find out the moment of resistance. Okay, now this is my neutral axis. This depth is xu, right? From the topmost compression fiber, here this is the neutral axis depth. Now I can divide this into a rectangular portion like this, okay, and a flange portion, because for this rectangular portion I already know. When there is a rectangular portion, what is this rectangular portion width? What is the width of this rectangular portion? What is the width of this rectangular portion?
BW, sir.
BW, yes, exactly.
BW.
This is a BW. Now, for this rectangular portion alone, I know that, okay, so I am dividing this T beam into this rectangular portion plus this portion. This is the first portion. This is second portion. Okay. This comparison portion is divided into a rectangle of this one. This is the first one plus this flange is here. Is out I this because I already know for a rectangular section I already know the formula. C is equal to 0.36 FCK XU. B instead of B it will be BW because this width is BW now, right? Is there any doubt in this one? For this rectangular portion, I already know the formula from the code and also we have derived so far. C will be always equal to 0.36 FCK XU into BW. Is there any doubt, ma? Anybody? Anybody having any doubt? So if I take on this rectangular part, if I consider this rectangular part alone, for that this is the equation. Now I am left with this portion and this portion that I have represented here, and that what is the total width of this rectangular portion? The total is BF. Now I will erase all this one. This total is BF. This total is BF here. And in that I have removed this rectangular part. This BW I removed. So what will be left? I will be left with BF minus BW because this BW I removed it. So total width will be BF minus BW only. And the thickness will be DF, right? I hope this is clear to everyone and there is no confusion. Now I am taking this same thing again. Now for this is a XU. This is a rectangular part. This is the XU neutral axis depth, and this is a rectangular part. Now for this rectangular, this is a neutral axis. For this rectangular part, when the compressive stress distribution is like this, you already know this CW is equal to 0.36 FCK XU. Instead of B, you will have BW because this is a BW, right? And the stress value is 0.45 FCK. And the distance is this force will act as a distance of 0.4 to XU, which we have discussed in numerous times. Okay. Now this is for the rectangular part. Now, and correspondingly, your 0.87 FIAST is the tensile force. This tensile force does not vary. T is equal to 0.87 FI into AST. Now remember, I am writing this as a CW. That means compressive force taken by the web portion as a CW, and this is the web portion. This web I have written as CW 0.36 FCK XU BW. Right? Any doubt so far? Anybody? These are all whatever already studied. Now, the moment carried by the web alone is, you take moment about this point. 0.36 FCK XU BW is a compressive force multiplied by this distance d minus 0.4 to XU, that is this. So this is the moment taken by this web portion alone, or you can say this complete web portion. Now you are left with these two flanges, this remaining flanges also there, because that is also taking compressive force. Now for that, so the plus symbol here, I have this left portion here from here. So this rectangular portion I already done it here. That is why I marked a tick here. Now I am left with this flange portion. Now flange portion is this one, and the width of the flange is BF minus BW, and the depth of the flange is DF. Now here the stress distribution is like this, but remember over the thickness of the flange. Remember the thickness of flange is only this much. This thickness of flange, what is the corresponding stress distribution here? So you know, force means this is also force only. CW is the 0.36 FCK is the stress value multiplied by this XU into BW is the area of this concrete in this web force, compression portion, that is XU into BW. So stress into area gave you the force, compressive force in the web. Similarly here also the compressive force taken by the flange will be area of flange is how much? BF minus BW is the width into thickness of flange is DF. Is it not? What is the area of this flange? Two flange. BF minus BW into DF. Now what is the stress acting on this thickness of flange? Stress acting is 0.45 FCK. Is it not? Any doubt? Because as I told you, as I shown you in the whiteboard here, over the thickness of the flange, your stress acting is only 0.45 FCK because it is a uniform. 0.43 X is greater than DF. So that is why only uniform stress is acting and the stress value is 0.45 FCK. So if I want to find out, this is the thickness of the flange and it is here. Above this, if you see, the stress is only uniform. Stress distribution is uniform, and this force, the entire force will act at a distance of DF by 2 because this is the stress acting 0.45 FCK. And that CF value is 0.45 FCK is the stress value, that is from here, multiplied by the area of this flange is BF minus BW is the width of the flange, total width of the flange, and the thickness of the flange DF. That is the value of CF, that means compressive force taken by the flange. Now the CF where it will act, because your stress distribution we are finding out from the top compression fiber till the thickness of the flange, and because this distribution is only uniform, the compression force will exactly act at the distance of DF by 2 from the top. Right? Now this distance between this force and this tensile force is called total is D minus DF by 2. Lever arm for this CF is D is the effective depth from here to here, and this is DF by 2, so the difference is D minus DF by 2. So the lever arm between CF and the D is D minus DF by 2. Therefore, the moment that can be taken by the flange alone will be the moment MUF I am writing. Clear attention. MEF I am writing. This compressive force CF 0.45 FCK BF minus BW into DF is the total compressive force taken by the flange. Into lever arm is D minus DF by 2. So if we add this thing together, so if you want to find out first neutral axis depth, how many compressive force I have? I have CW, I have CF. These are the compressive force, and tensile force only 0.87 FY AST. Now, how do you calculate the neutral axis depth? How do you calculate neutral axis depth? Suppose in a stress diagram, you have been given compressive forces this much, tensile forces this much. How do you find out the neutral axis depth? In general, how to find out neutral axis depth?
Equating them.
Yeah, exactly. You have to find the equilibrium of forces. Compressive force equal to tensile force. Exactly. Thank you very much. At least you are able to tell. So here, if you see, compressive force is taken by two. The web also taking compressive force. Flange also taking compressive force. So I have this compressive force taken by the web. This compressive force taken by the flange. That should be equivalent to the tensile force taken by this tensile steel. So C equal to T if you put 0.87 FIAST is tensile force. Compressive force is 0.36 FCK XCBW plus 0.45 FCK BF minus BW into DF. So from this only unknown will be XU. You can find out XU, right? Is that clear, everyone? So I am repeating for the 100th time. All of you listen. If you want to find out neutral axis depth, you should equate compressive force equal to tensile force. Find the equilibrium of the internal forces developed. So compressive force equal to tensile force. If you do that, you can easily find out the neutral axis depth. Otherwise, the body will not be equilibrium. Is that clear? So this is my tensile force is taken only by the steel because we are neglecting all of the concrete in the tensile zone. Only steel alone will be left. So tensile force is 0.87 FYAST. And mostly we design only under reinforced section. That is why this is 0.87 FY. Otherwise, we will write FST into AST. But for under reinforced section, the stress in the steel will be a yield stress. So 0.87 FY. Right? Now here you have two different compressive force. One due to this web portion, one due to the flange portion. If you equate these two, you will get the. If you find out XC, you can easily find out what is the value of XC. Similarly, if you find out moment of resistance will be sum of moment taken by the web plus moment taken by the flange. So moment of resistance equal to MUW plus MUF. So you will get this value 0.36 FCK XU BW into D minus 0.40 XU plus 0.45 FCK BF minus BW into DF into D minus DF. Addition of these two terms, that's the moment of resistance. Now tell me, is there any doubt to anybody? If you have not understood, please let me know. I will once again explain. Anybody? You can unmute yourself and speak. If anybody have any doubt, please tell me. Actually, you have to only know these two cases. If you know two cases, all 5 cases will be easily understood. So if you have any doubt, please let me know. So here, please understand, DF by XU is less than 0.43 means the stress over this thickness of the flange here is uniform and the stress value is 0.45 FCK. Right, that is much. For that only all this thing is done. And because above the neutral axis it is a T-beam, you have to consider the rectangular portion separately because for that we know the equation already. And for the flange portion you have to separately consider. And for the flange portion, because stress is uniform of 0.45 FCK, you are using this one. And then you are finding out compressive force, nothing but it is always stress multiplied by area. This is a stress, uniform stress 0.45 FCK and BF minus BW into DF is the area. That is what is given here. And that force will always act at the half of the centroid of this stress distribution. Now this is your centroid, this is your stress distribution. For a DF distance it is acting. So it will be half of DF. Okay, that's what is this one. So lever arm is d minus df by 2, and for this d minus 0.4 xu, because this is 0.4 xu, this is d minus 0.4 xu. So this one, right? These are the equation, right? Now I am going to the next case. When df by x greater than 0.3, to now see here. Here also this is your xu. That means neutral axis falls within the web, or this is web, this is flange. This is same as second case only, but only difference is what they given is your thickness of flange is greater than 0.43 xu. Thickness of flange is greater than 0.43 xu. That means what? Your here, you look at here. Your 0.43 xu is less than df, but df is ending somewhere here. That means you have a this 0.45 fck. You have a this uniform part and also some parabolic part also there, right? Are you able to see this clearly, everyone? This blue line, this is a parabolic part.
Sure.
So this is df. So now, if you see the stress distribution over this flange, it consists of a rectangular prop up to depth of 0.43 xu, and there is a part of parabolic prop, okay, more than 0.43 xu. So in essence, you have this kind of stress distribution, right? Oh, sorry, it is automatically like this. Over 0.43 xu, it is a rectangle uniform. After that, it is a parabolic, and df is this much. This is df. Is it understood the difference between case 2 and case 3? In case 2, your df was where your entire stress distribution was only 0.45 fck. These are all 0.45 fck over the entire depth of df. Let us say this is df. But here, if this is your df is greater than 0.4. This is 0.43 xu. This df is greater than 0.43 xu, and it consists of this parabolic part also. Then in this case, the stress distribution is not uniform over through the entire thickness. For some distance it is uniform, and beyond that it is a parabolic, right? So now how to derive the equation for this one? That is this case. Now again, df by x is greater than 0.43. That means your xu is greater than df. Greater than df means your neutral axis falls outside the flange and less than the critical neutral axis depth. Now again same thing. It is given 20. This reference I will come back later. Now here again same thing. These are all same. Again I'm going to take this T beam as one rectangular beam plus flange here. Now this neutral axis depth, that is equal to this rectangular portion alone. This rectangular, this entire T beam is this entire T beam. In this rectangular portion alone is indicated here. BW is equal to AST. This is BW, this is AST, and this is the overall depth, and this is neutral axis depth, and this up to the center will be effective depth plus, and this part, this flange part, this flange part. This flange part is this one, where again this width will be BF minus BW. This is the thickness of the flange. So I have divided this into a rectangular beam and a flange portion alone. You same as previous one. Now only difference is, for this rectangular portion, for the entire rectangular portion, for this compressive force taken by the concrete is 0.36 fck BW. There is no trouble at all, and that force acts in distance of 0.42 xu. Now coming to this tensile steel, it is 0.87 Fy into ASD. Now this moment taken by the web is same, 0.36 fck xu BW into d minus 0.40 xu, right? This is moment taken by the web alone. Plus now This is for this web. That's why I mark tick mark. This for web. Now I have to calculate for this flange. Now flange is here. This is BF minus BW and this is DF. Sorry, DF should be till here. I marked wrongly. The DF is till here. This is the thickness of flange. Okay. So, okay. Now, remember here your DF is here and this total has a both the 0.43 rectangular portion also and up to this point it will have a parabolic portion also. This is here. This is my thickness of flange is ending. Now I have this 0.43 XC part also. I also have this parabolic part. So now how to find out this one? What the code says is you make this into a equivalent rectangular part of a height YF. So the force will act as a distance of YF by 2. Now what does it mean is I will explain just YF. I will explain in a little while. But assume that this rectangular and paraboloid can be taken as a rectangle alone to a depth of YF. Okay. So the force will act at a distance of YF by 2 and this lever arm is D minus YF by 2 and the CF is 0.45 FCK is stress. 0.45 FCK is stress. BF minus BW is the width of the flange and YF is the equivalent rectangular depth of this stress diagram and that is the depth. So YF is given the code 0.5 XU plus 0.65 DF. Under any case, the YF should always be less than or equal to DF. Is that clear? So your moment of resistance by the flange will be this CF multiplied by D minus YF by 2. Right? Now, if you want to find out neutral axis depth, again equate compressive force. There are two compressive force CW plus CF equal to T. Then you will get this equation. The only difference is earlier case you had a DF, here you are giving YF. That is the only difference. Okay. Sorry, this is not correct. Sorry here. I have to make a change here. There is something wrong here. Sorry. So here YF is also YF. Here final answer is written correct. And this this is up to here. Okay. Okay, so if you take the equilibrium of compressive force and tensile force, this is a compressive force 1 taken by work, compressive force taken by flange, tensile force taken by steel. If you make it T is equal to C, you will get the equation. You can find out the value of XU. Remember, the YF is also in terms of XU, so you will get a quadratic equation. You will have to solve it. Similarly, moment of resistance will be moment taken by the web plus moment taken by the flange. So that is this formula. Now I will tell you. I am going to tell what is that YF, DF on top. See, this was your thickness of flange, right? Now here you have a rectangular part of 3/7 XU or 0.43 XU, and also you have a this parabolic part. This is marked here. This is your total XU. This is your TF, and this contain 0.45 FCK distance. This is the stress, and this one. Now what you are finding out? You are finding your YF depth equivalent to this, but YF is not greater than DF. Under any circumstance, YF is not greater than. So this YF depth will be always be less than df, or at most it will never be equal to df. But in case if it is coming out to be equal to df or greater than df, you should always take yf is equal to df. So you have a stress block of 0.45. This yellow color is a uniform stress distribution. This pink color is the parabolic distribution. You are changing this stress distribution, which is in the, for a depth of df, you are changing this into a stress of 0.45 FCK alone, but having a rectangular distribution, and the depth of rectangular distribution is YF. Okay, that is why you are in the previous equation. If you see, it is 0.45 FCK BF minus BW into YF is there, because you are changing this thickness of slab to this YF, because you want to find out what is a uniform stress distribution, and that is why this DF is modified to YF. So whenever your DF by XU is greater than 0.43, YF comes into the picture. Okay, so YF is defined in the code 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. Now tell me, is there any doubt? Anybody? It seems like highly see. If you see this slide all at once, it will be very difficult. But if you go through the video again, it will be step by step. Each and every step will be very clearly seen. So you can always easily understand it. So in case if you have doubt, you go back and see. Or if you have any doubt, please tell me now. I will explain again. I have no problem in repeating it again. Anyone having any doubt?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, please explain YF, sir, again.
Okay. So now this part is understood. This is the thickness of the flange, and this is stress distribution.
Yes, sir.
From here to here, this is XU. This is because this is the neutral axis depth. Now this rectangular part alone is 3/7 XU, which is called 0.43 XU, right? Now over the thickness of the slab, your stress distribution is not uniform, because up to yellow color here 0.43 XU, it is uniform. But after that, it is not uniform, because it is varying in a parabolic way up to here, up to thickness of slab here, right? Up the bottom of slab, from here to here, it is varying in a non-linear manner. Is that correct? Is that understood? This is a non-linear part here. This pink portion, the stress is non-linear. It is not uniform. So now you have a combination of a linear part of 0.45 FCK to a depth of 0.43 XU, and the remaining portion is varying from 0.45 FCK to some other value here, less than 0.43 XU, 0.45 FCK. Okay, this value is less than 0.45 FCK. Is that clear? Any doubt in that? Here, if you see, this is less. This value will be less than 0.45 FCK, because 0.45 FCK is from here to here. So this portion is it is less than 0.45, is it not? This is 0. This stress is 0 here at the neutral axis. At the bottom of the slab here, you have a stress less than 0.45 FCK. Now I want to change this to a uniform stress distribution of 0.45 FCK. So obviously, because up to 0.43 XU, it is okay. But beyond that, I have a parabolic person. I want to make it as a equivalent stress, which have only a rectangular part. Obviously, it has to be less. So that distance is called YF, where if I find out the compressive force acting on this slab due to this one will be D into this distribution will be equal to YF into 0.45 FCK, and of course the width of the slab will come here, or width of the flange will come here. Okay, so width of the flange into DF into the average stress distribution from this part, from here up to here, both the yellow and the pink together will be some compressive force. That will be equal to, again, the same width of the flange into YF into 0.45 FCK alone. Here the stress will not be 0.45 FCK, it will be, you have to find out, because there is a rectangular part and the parabolic part. you have to find out. That will be very cumbersome. To avoid that cumbersome procedure, your code says you consider the stresses uniform to a height of YF, and that YF value is 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF, and this YF should be less than or equal to DF, because your YF cannot be, your rectangle cannot be like this, because if this is 0.45 FCK, this has, because less here, obviously your rectangle will be always less than DF only. It cannot be greater than. Is that clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So I will show you here. And the fourth and fifth case is same as the second and third, which I will explain in a while. Here you see, where YF is equal to 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF, but not greater than DF. Okay, so I will take 5 minutes more to, because I want to, again we have to start tomorrow. It will be a waste of time. So anybody having any doubt till now in second and third case? If you have any doubt, please let me know. I will clarify it, because next one is much easier. It is given in the code itself. So fourth case is neutral axis falls within the web and dF by d is less than 0.2. Note down this point. dF by d is less than 0.2 and XU equal to XC max. What does it mean? XU equal to XC max?
Actual depth of neutral axis is equal to critical depth. Sir.
So exactly. So whatever moment of resistance you will be finding out, what you will find out is MU limit. Is that clear? Because when XU is equal to XC limit or XU max, your MU will become MU limit. Is that clear, everyone? Now, what is the DF by D point? What is this DF by D point 2? Remember, your XU max by D, what are the different values? You have 0.48, you have 0.46, you have 0.53, right? XU max by D. This is for Fe250 steel, this is for Fe415 steel, this is Fe500 steel, right? For Fe415, I know XU is equal to 0.48 D, right? Is it not? XU max for Fe415, 0.48 D. Is it not? Is it correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the value of 3/7 of 0.48? 3/7 is a rectangular part. You know, you remember, right? Like in this stress diagram. 3/7 is the
0.20, sir.
0.2, sir.
That is why we are writing dF by d 0 points, because 3/7 XU is the in the second case and third case we found out 3/7 XU, which is 0.43 XU. That's what we found out, right? dF by XU is greater than 0.43. dF is less than 0.43 XU or greater than 0.43 XU. Similarly, instead of XU, if you substitute XU max, in all these cases, all of the value will be close to 0.2. So that means we are fine. That is why we are writing dF by d in equal to 0.2. So remember, in a case 2, dF by XU less than 0.43 or not be compared. That means dF is less than 0.43 XU or not, like that we are comparing. Now what is this? If instead of XU, if you put XC max, this become dF less than 0.43, 0.48 D, right? This is coming out to be less than 0.2 D, and this D, if you take it here, dF by D less than 0.2. Is that clear? Ardhamainda? Why it is like this? Because that is coming from the second case only. dF by XU less than 0.43, or you take this XU here 0.43 XU instead of XU, because your XU is XC max from here. You substitute XC max for Fe415 is 0.48D, or if you substitute for 0.53D also, it will be almost little greater than 0.2, but it's okay, 0.2. And similarly 0.46 also, it will be 0.18 or 0.19, that is approximated as 0.2. That is why you have dF by D less than 0.2. So here everything is same, everything is absolutely same. When dF by D is less than 0.2, what we do is X is Xc max for rectangle portion, this is the rectangle portion, this is the flange portion, everything same. So only difference you will make here is instead of Xc you are putting Xc max. Here also in D minus 0.40 Xc max also. Similarly in this also, when it is less than 0.2, this will become all the equation will be with respect to dF. Okay, when it is less than 0.43 XU or less than 0.2, your equation, the flange equation will be in terms of thickness of the flange. Once for all, remember, right? dF will be there, and the lever arm will be dF, d minus dF by 2. So if you sum all this thing, you will get MUW plus MEF is equal to 0.36 FCK XC max PW d minus 0.40 XC max. Is the same as second case. Only difference is instead of XC you will have XC max because your XC is equal to XC max, right? Is that clear? Similarly, if you want to find out if dF by D, so this is the same equation only. MER limit is equal to, I am writing the same equation, FCK XC max PW minus D minus 0.40 X. The previous slide equation only I am writing here. In your code, what they have done is they have taken this D outside. So D will come out. So it is written in this form, 0.36 FCK XC max by D. This will become 1 minus 0.42 XC max by D into FCK BW D square like that, right? Plus point, this is same, this will remain same. Now I am going to show you this equation in the code. Now if you see the code here, in the code they have written as a second case, but I want to pay very careful attention to the sentences that is written here. The limiting value of moment of resistance. What is mean by limiting value of moment of resistance? Anyone say what is meant by limiting value of moment of resistance?
MER limits.
MER limit. Yes, absolutely. MER limit may be obtained by the following equation when dF by D exceed 0.2. So M is equal to 0.36 XC max by D 1 minus 0.42 XC max by D into FCK BW D square plus 0.45 FCK DF minus BW into DF into D minus DF by 2, where the everything is same whatever it is this, right? It is given in the code, and I have shown you by the derivation how this equation has come. Now this is the case 4. DF by D does not exceed 0.2, right? Is that clear, everyone? And it is same as case 2, where instead of XC max you change to XU, you will get it will be same as case 2, right? Now second one. Now case 5, when dF by D is greater than 0.2, that means equation that then whenever you have dF by D greater than 0.2, instead of dF everything will be this will be replaced by YF. So this will remain same, 0.36 FCK XC max BW D minus 0.40 XC max. This will not change, but only instead of dF it will become YF. So that is the only change between equation 4, case 4 and case 5, right? So tomorrow class we are going to solve the numerical. Now you see here, when the ratio of dF by D exceeds 0.2, the moment of resistance of the section may be calculated by the following equation. Remember, they are writing MU, but what is limiting moment of resistance? Please read the sentence carefully. The limiting value of moment of resistance only they are discussing, although they are defined by value MU. Why they have written MU, not MU limit? That is for a specific reason. I will tell you what is the specific reason. Right here, M is equal to 0.36 XC max by D 1 minus 0.42 XC max by D FCK PWD square. In both equation G 2.2. This is 2.2. This is G 2.2 equation. This is G 2.2.1 equation. Everything same except that here it is YF. In this two place it will be YF. In the above equation it will be DF. That is the only change. Now this is case 4. This is case 5. Now here you see here when XU is less than XU max and greater than DF. This is case number 2 and 3. Okay, when XU is less than XU max and greater than DF. Greater than DF means what? The neutral axis lies in the web, right? The moment of resistance, here they are writing, here they are not writing limiting moment of resistance, here they are writing the moment of resistance may be calculated by the equation given in G 2.2.2 when DF by XU does not exceed 0.43. When DF by XU is less than 0.43, use this equation, replacing XU max with XU. That's what they are saying here, you see. When XU is less than XU max and greater than DF, the moment of resistance may be calculated by the equation given in G 2.2 when DF by XU does not exceed 0.43, and with the G 2.2.1 when this equation when DF by XU exceeds 0.43. In both cases, substituting XU max by XU. Is that clear? So this one is case 2 and 3, and this is case 4 and 5. Okay. All right. So that's end for today. Now you let me know if there is any doubt. If you understand case 2 and case 3, case 4 and 5 easy, and all these formulas are given in your code as I shown you here. This is code. This is, if you replace with XU, that become case number 2. Here if you replace with the XU, this become case number 3, and case number 4 is this one. Case number 5 is this one. And if you want to find out neutral axis depth, you just remove the lever arm term. This is the lever arm term. This is the lever arm term, and equal to 0.87 FOST, you will get to the neutral axis depth. Okay, is that clear? Any doubt to anybody? Anybody have any doubt?